That's probably the most thoughtful I've ever seen you, Louis. You didn't even interrupt the song, or you just sat there thinking and pondering and really taking it all in. That's. I'm excited to hear what you think of that.
I'm in two minds. Yeah, I'm in two minds. But that's probably the first time I've really sort of sat down and listened to that tune, beginning to end. Well, it was almost a builder. At one point, I was like, "Oh, this is a builder," because there was a point where it's rocking out. You were tapping your feet. I was like, "Oh no, this is like the Doors. People are strange. It's the builder." And then about the last minute, it was winding down. It felt like it finished.
It comes up again, doesn't it?
Yeah, briefly, but I mean, it was almost.
Well, it's a journey, isn't it? It's not just all one. It's not all one way.
You know what? I would give you that. It was a journey, actually. I went through it. I suppose I did. It was like ups and downs.
Yeah.
I did actually go through. At one point, I was feeling really hungover listening to that. I was like, this tune sums up what it's like to be hungover. There's a bit where he's like, and I thought like me in bed trying to reach for the paracetamol. You know, like when you're like, oh, I really should get up and have some food or something, but I'm just, and it really summed that up pretty well. You know, and I was sort of, you know, I'm a little bit hungover today, but it really brought that out. And then there was a maybe I do like that. Thing is, I don't know. I'm into. I still feel like.
See, Louis, sometimes good music just, you know, you can't help it, despite the enormous drag factor of your past. And your musical tastes, good music will just get you, and I think you've shown that. You're fighting against it, but I think, you know, it's not too late for you, Louis.
Well, it's made me think, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I do feel like I've been through a journey.
Yeah.
I went through a range of emotions listening to that.
Yeah.
So.
And that's just one song off the album.
The only thing I did talk over is that I noticed the bit where like. And there's at some point there's just someone quietly sort of talking.
Well, you hear that's the paranoid android in the background.
We couldn't really hear what they were saying.
With headphones, it's clearer.
You know what? It reminds me of your voice. I imagine it was your voice going. Ah, no, you idiot! Something like that.
Right.
Just in the background, but that was.
It is a voice. It's a voice box kind of thing. It's like I suppose like Stephen Hawking-esque kind of.
Better, happier, more productive.
I suppose that is clever. I mean, I suppose that's a bit like what paranoid's like, isn't it?
Oh,
a little voice that you can't, little voice in the background saying paranoid. Oh, they're looking at you or something, or something bad's going to happen. I suppose they did. Do you think that was intentional?
Another album. Can you think of another album about paranoia and death from the 70s?
No.
Big album.
Nope.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Is that what it's about?
Paranoia and madness.
It doesn't have any lyrics, does it? It's Pink Floyd.
Yes, it does. Yes, yeah.
Does it? Oh, right. I thought they just did these massive jazz odyssey things with no. Wasn't it like
no?
Wasn't it like in Spinal Tap? They lost their lead singer and they just went off on a massive jazz.
Hope you like odyssey. Our jazz. I hope you like our new direction.
Yeah. I thought that was the whole thing about Pink Floyd.
No, I mean they do. They have sort of big epic songs, and there are sections like long sections without vocals and whatnot, or lyrics at least. But
here's the thing:
their lyrics are also brilliant, especially some of Roger Waters stuff.
Well, here's the thing. This was the other thing that's going through my mind, just listening to Paranoid Android. I'm like, what are people doing? If you went to Paranoid, if you went to what are they called again? The band?
Radiohead.
A Radiohead. Right. If you went to a Radiohead concert,
yes.
Right. What are people doing there? They just sat there morosely, sort of, feeling hungover, wanting to kill themselves. And then it gets upbeat and they dance around a bit and then they have a rest when it's all sad.
Well, they stand there enjoying the music and everything it gives to them during the slower bits, and then they dance and jump at the moshy bits,
Okay. No,
I'd say that's what they would.
Almost like.
I can't speak for every Radiohead fan, but that's.
Because in my head, when I think of like going to see live music, I think of like rocking out, like.
Surely you can only do that
people
if you go to
at the front, a bit of a, they've got the mosh pit at the front.
Well, it depends on the style of music, doesn't it? And what you want to get out of it.
Well, I sort of feel if it's live music, what I want to get is I want it to be pretty crazy. Otherwise,
so you'd never see an acoustic show.
I mean, if I was listening, I like to listen to acoustic music on the headphones at home, but why bother?
You wouldn't go to MTV Unplugged or anything just to enjoy the live music and the ambience and enjoy the songs in a different way, say if they're acoustically done.
Well,
that doesn't appeal to you. It doesn't have to. It's, very much a...
here's the thing. I may have learnt something today, Nigel Thomas. As I sat there listening to Paranoid Android by Radiohead, I did go through a bit of a journey listening to that tune. And it was like that old... Imagine what it would have been like in the olden days to go to like an orchestra concert. And there's no set and there's no music video. There's no big screens or anything. It's just you sit and listen to the music. That's maybe a new experience for me.
Listen to the music. Yeah.
I may have learnt and grown. And I'm just...
Well, it's good. And you learnt the name of the band, Radiohead.
Radiohead.
Yep.
How do you feel when you listen to it?
It's a tough one, really. It's such a great song. I just enjoy the structure and the melodies, and maybe I think more about the instrumentation and that kind of thing because of being a musician and having, quite a few recording sessions and that kind of thing. So you kind of think about how it's put together as well as just the music you're hearing.
That's why I've never learnt really to play music beyond playing recorder in primary school. I stopped then because the recorder teacher was really bossy, but I'm glad I did, and I've never really got into like learning about how to play music, and I'm glad because I can just appreciate music for the feeling without analysing it. Because you were talking about the melody. I don't even know what melody is. Is a melody the bit that isn't the chorus, or is the melody the
melody's the sort of the tune?
The tune.
The actual, yeah.
Right.
Yesterday all my troubles seem so far away. I'm singing a melody that Paul McCartney dreamt in his sleep.
Is the melody like... Is that different to the hook? Like the hook is a bit of the melody that...
The hook is a usually repetitive, catchy part of the melody.
Catchy part of the melody.
Yeah, I mean, hook doesn't necessarily have to be a melody as well. A hook can even be like a drum part or something that's catchy and memorable that is repetitive, that keeps you hooked in, basically.
Right.
It's the whole...
Well, here's the thing. I try not to learn too much about this stuff because I do a technical job, computers, stuff like that, and then comedy. The more I've learnt about it, the more it's like you lose the love of it because you start analysing it. So with music, is the one thing where I've just feel it, and I felt those feelings that Radiohead gave me.
That's good. Well, I'm the same with computers because I don't know the ins and outs as well as you, so I can just enjoy the feeling of a computer working without worrying too much.
God, it's rare someone says they enjoy
about the build.
Normally people are just pissed off if a computer's not working. Do you take joy out of a computer just working and the magic of technology?
I think you can take pleasure out of it, can't you, with a smoothly working system?
Like a well-oiled machine.
I'm trying to talk your language here, Louis.
That's the technical
and
lingo.
And certainly your eyes perked
down.
up when I started talking about system. And what build is exciting as well, isn't it?
What do you mean by the build?
What build it is? So it's like build. What version?
Oh, that excites you.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So today they've upgraded it. It's build version 5.432. Oh, okay. Really? Or is that a joke? Do you really?
Bit of a joke, really. Though,
right.
Yeah. Bit of a joke there. It's backfired.
That's what people. Yeah. When you sort of analyse comedy, it does no longer funny. There's an old joke that's like analysing comedy is like dissecting a frog. Nobody learns anything, and the frog dies.
I think you can learn something from dissecting a frog, surely. Otherwise, why would they do it?
Did you ever do dissection at school?
Once, I think, yeah. But they were like kind of just defrosted mice, I think. So it wasn't any, yeah. We didn't have to kill anything.
Yes, yeah. I don't think they ever really get kids to kill things in school, do they?
There's that school or college, I can remember, that does that thing that you have to bring up a chicken and rear it. I think it's a chicken all through its life, and then you have to kill it and eat it at the end as part of the course.
Wow.
That's sort of learning about the value of life and husbandry, sort of animal husbandry.
And there's a school in the UK, is it?
Oh gosh, I can't remember where it is. You'd have to look it up. Yeah, where they do that.
Better go on
Radiohead Haunting
vegetarians
is back.
graduating from that.
Well, I think it is a kind of a struggle for them, and I think that's why it was in the news. They were talking about it, but it's probably quite a good thing to do. That if you're going to
eat a chicken sandwich, know where it's come from.
Yeah, it's good to have that awareness, isn't it, and make sure they've had a good life. I think.
It'd be like a pet, and then you'd like eat your pet.
Yeah.
I think anyone would find that hard, especially children. So yeah. So anyway, music. I don't know the technicalities. I'm glad of that, so I can just go with how it feels,
go with
what
the flow.
It reminds me of. Shall we?
Well, thanks for joining me today, Louis.
That was I think that's a nice moment to finish on, isn't it?
Go with your feelings.
It's sort of a morose moment, but much like Radiohead are morose, and Sunday mornings are.
Sometimes an understated ending can be surprisingly effective.
Fizzle out, much like that tune, but can we keep the end going for about a minute? In the same way that Radiohead. Oh, there's a little bit of excitement, and then it fizzles out to nothing.
All right, I'll drive you to the station. Thanks for coming, Louis Christie.
Thank you for having me, Nigel Thomas.